Hello and welcome to the Rogers TV COVID-19 program. I'm Carol Merton, and before I welcome our guests to the program, I just have a few words that I'd like to share with you. For those of you who watch the program, you'll know that I do like to give an update about COVID-19 and the impact on our community. So here in Grey Bruce, we continue to celebrate that we are in the green or prevent stage of the provincial reopening framework. The change to green reflects the hard work all of us have been doing by following the Public Health Unit guidelines. On March 17th, a press release from the Grey Bruce Public Health Unit was sent that reminds the public green does not mean that anything goes. There remain limits on activity to prevent the spread of COVID-19 virus and also the variants. There is more good news with the rollout of the vaccine delivery plan, including the online scheduling portal for those 80 years of age or older, for those who choose to be vaccinated and based on vaccine supply. Thank you for not relaxing your vigilance and continuing with the 3 W's, washing your hands, wearing a mask, and watching your distance. We want to continue to enjoy being in the green zone, and we want to do all that we can to stay green. The sacrifices that we make each and every day are helping to prevent the spread of COVID-19. We are making a difference. Thank you. And now I want to say thank you for joining me to our guests today. I am very pleased to welcome Mandy and Lloyd Mohr, who are both from the Big Brothers, Big Sisters organization. Thank you both for being here. I know you've got lots of information to share. I'm wondering if you'd mind just telling a little bit about your role in Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And for sure, we want to talk about an event that you're going to be having as well. So who wants to go first?
Mandy will.
Mandy will. Okay.
Hey, Mandy.
Hi, Carol. Thanks for having us again. So I am Mandy Lamb. I'm the mentoring coordinator here at Big Brothers Big Sisters and the only full-time staff. I've been here since 2017. And yeah, it's not really work because I love what I do. So it's a good thing for me. I'm back in the office now. So the last time I was on the show, I think I was on my back deck and it was sunny. But
you were. I remember that thinking, gee, wouldn't that be a lovely place to do an interview? But I couldn't be there.
That's right. We were distancing.
Yeah, we were, for sure. But I did get to admire the scenery.
Yeah.
Thank you. Lloyd.
I'm Lloyd, and I'm the vice president of the Big Brothers Big Sisters Grey Bruce. I've been with the organization since 2016, and great organization. They do wonderful, wonderful work. We have Mandy working for us now, of course, and we have a couple of part-time people. But a fantastic group doing wonderful things. And looking forward to providing you with just some ideas of what's coming up in the near future.
Why don't we get to that exciting stuff first? I do have some questions about how your organization has managed through COVID and what sorts of things have happened. But let's get to what do you really want to share, which are the exciting events coming forward first? Tell me more.
Strike.
Strike.
Yeah.
That means bowling.
That's a hint. That's a hint.
Bowling. Yeah.
So today actually is the launch of our Bowl for Kids' Sake 2021 Reimagined. So because everything is different this year, it's going to look different and it's going to run longer. So today you can access your pledge sheets and you can start creating your peer-to-peer campaigns and raising your pledges and getting ready to bowl. And then April 10th to the 25th is when the event will run this year, with the 22nd to 25th being some live bowling at the Owen Sound Bowling Alley. So that'll be more similar to what we've done in the past, but leading up to that, so from the 10th to the 22nd, you can do virtual bowling, you can bowl with plastic pins at home or water bottles at home.
That's
and
more
send
my
us her
style.
score. That's right.
So tell me how it will be, like, how will you know people have done it? I read your information, so I know the answer to it, but I want you to tell everyone. So what do you want people to do when they're doing the event?
First and foremost, we want them to have fun. That's what it's about. And so, as Mandy mentioned, this year we have the opportunity to do things virtually. So we're going to be providing a website which has a bowling game that you can use, and then you can also do Wii bowling if you like. The Wii system has a bowling game that I think a number of people probably use. And like Mandy said, if you wanted, you can set up some bowling pins in your driveway or in your living room if you want, and knock them down. We ask you to keep score. We ask you to take a picture or a screenshot or whatever the case may be, and send that in with your pledge sheets, and that's your score. We'll enter that. And I think we have a bunch of prizes, don't we, Mandy?
Yeah, we do. So it'll be, in that sense, it's the same as the live event. So if you play the online game, you can screenshot your score. If you do the Wii bowling, you take a picture of your TV screen with your score. Keep an eye on our website too, because we have a really fun video of us practicing all of these virtual games that you can see, and you can watch what you can do and sort of how to send your scores in that way. So it's really just a chance to, if you're not able to come out or you're not comfortable coming out due to COVID, you can still join in the fun and still challenge your parents or challenge your kids to a game of bowling and help out Big Brothers Big Sisters while you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is wonderful. Now, you mentioned there will be a period of time where people can bowl in person. So how will that work? Are you limiting numbers? Are you limiting times? For those who might want that personal, just that feel of bowling.
Yeah, so we will follow the obviously public health guidelines, and the bowling alley in Owen Sound is very strict with their following those recommendations, right, to make sure that everybody's safe. So in the past, we would have crammed the whole bowling alley full of as many people as we could. So this year there can be 60 people in the bowling alley. So we can have up to 10 teams per shift. So we're going to do Thursday night and Friday night from 6:30 to 8, Saturday morning and Sunday morning from 10 to 11:30.
Okay.
And then we'll do a live, we'll do a live virtual closing ceremony on the 25th, just so that everyone knows who won and who was there and who was bowling virtually and all that good stuff.
So, I mean, how creative that is. I mean, how wonderful, because you've adapted, but you're still bringing the community together to help support. So your message to the community is, please participate, please pledge. It's going to the organization.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. And the great thing is, I think that the community has been waiting for it. It's always been I think the second week of March.
Yeah.
And we were fortunate last year. We got it in the weekend before the shutdown for COVID occurred. But people already this year, this time of year, have been asking, well, aren't you bowling? Where's the bowling event? They want and expect it. And of course, because of COVID, we haven't been able to do it at the same time. So the organization, the planning committee, they decided we'll put it off a little bit, see how things work out with our area and the COVID recommendations from the health unit, and still go ahead. And in worst case scenario, we might not be able to bowl in person, but we still have the capacity to do this virtually, and we still have people who are super interested in supporting us, which is really, really good.
That's excellent. Now, is it one of your main fundraisers, or do you have other fundraisers throughout the year as well?
It is. It's our biggest. We do have some other ones. We have some smaller ones that we like to get involved with, get our littles and our bigs involved with. We do have a golfing tournament well, it used to be July. Last year was September. But this one is the big one. This is what we're really known for. And the community really supports us on this one. So it's hard to put it off. And it's hard to ignore it. So we're trying to do it as safely as we can.
Absolutely. So we definitely want a bull for kids' sake to help support Big Brothers and Big Sisters. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about what's been happening the year we've been in this pandemic, as far as the services you're providing, and what are you hearing back from the bigs and the littles?
So service has never stopped for us. We've always been here, and we've always been supporting the youth and the bigs and their families. When we are in a shutdown situation, so twice now, we go all virtual. So bigs and littles connect either, by Skype, or they play online games, or they play board games separately but together on a computer screen. We've had some matches that were pen paling, so writing snail mail back and forth. So whatever their comfort level is, and just trying to keep it fun. And then as an organization, we've continued to reach out to our families and to the bigs, and really just making sure they know we're here. We've done some porch drops of craft supplies, and we did a camp box program in the summer where we delivered some summer camp like activities in a bag for the littles to enjoy and have something to do.
Now, I know when we chatted before you explained this, but in case there's additional audience members, can you explain what bigs and littles really mean? I mean, I think it's a delightful term, but maybe just elaborate a little bit more, if you wouldn't mind, on what that means.
Yeah, so our littles are between 6 and 16, and they're the youth that come to our program and are looking for another caring adult, another person to walk with them through their journey of life. And their families are connected to us as well, because we connect with the parent or guardian to make sure that, they bring their youth to the program, and then we stay connected to make sure they also feel comfortable with the match. Okay. And then bigs are over 18, and they are the caring adult. They're the person that hangs out with their youth, and they spend time together, and they're just there as that voice and as that caring person for them.
So how do people get involved in the program? Is there an application process, an interview process? And is there? Are you needing more? Are you needing more to help?
Yeah, so the best way to connect is either to go on the website or call the office, and you'll get connected to me either way. You're stuck with me, but and then I will get you an application, and then we meet. So whether you're a little and their parent or guardian, or you're a big, we spend an hour chatting so that I get to know who you are, what your interests are, and what you're looking for. Yeah. And then the bigs get to go through a whole bunch more stuff, police checks and home visits and reference checks, and just to make sure that, they're safe people and they're an adult that the parent or guardian can trust. And both bigs and littles do a training session with me as well, where we talk about healthy relationships, what the program looks like. And then when it's time to match someone up, then I introduce them, and it's kind of like hey, this is your new friend, and then they get to have all the fun and just tell me about it.
Excellent. So in COVID, then you would have had to do a lot of the interviews remotely then, is that correct? So what happens for those who don't have internet connection? How do you meet the needs, or have poor signal? Because in some areas, the signal isn't as great. What do you do in those situations?
So when we're in sort of a lockdown situation, we can do it by phone. So I have done a couple of interviews where we started on the computer and service dropped. And so we finished those interviews on the old school telephone. And we made sure that we connected that way. When it's allowed and recommendations are there, we've done social distanced interviews. So when the weather's nice, as long as we're not going to freeze ourselves out, we meet outside and do the interview that way. Or, you know, if we're allowed and it's big enough, then we can meet indoors and wear a mask and do our 6 feet. And we just make sure we're doing it safely, but we absolutely can meet families and bigs where they're at and figure out the best way to do these things safely.
So have you had bigs that have been involved for a long period of time with the organization and maybe had different brothers or sisters affiliated, or do they always just stay with one, and how does that work? Or can they have more than one at a time?
Yeah, so we have had some that are with us for a long time. We have, I think the longest one, he's in his 14th year as a big brother, and he has had 4 little brothers. So that's probably the longest one. We do have other bigs that, you know, they hang out for a couple years with one little, and then especially if a little starts when they're 6, by the time they're 12, they may have very different interests. And so sometimes their interests change, and then we get them a different big that has those interests, and then we can rematch.
Excellent.
And we do have bigs that have lots of time, and they have 2 littles. Most often those ones have an in-school little and a community little.
Gotcha. So, Lloyd, don't want to leave you out of it.
No, not at all. I was actually just going to add. I think we've also had in the past, and Mandy, correct me if I'm wrong, if we still have some, but I mean a lot of times we have had bigs, mentors who have had their little right up till age 16, and they still get together, even though at 16 we kind of ask them to leave the agency and move on to different stuff. We have bigs and or ex-bigs that have had the relationship with a little and still do, and follow them through their high school graduation and off to university. And sometimes these are and maybe often these are lifelong relationships.
Yes.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I would think that would be tremendously rewarding. So the organization, first, my questions are, where does the funding come from? And does a board oversee the functions? Right. Or maybe you can just talk about the organization, and how can the community support you other than bowling, of course? Sure. But what other ways can the community support you?
Sure. Well, so it is a board-driven agency. We do have a national organization, but the way the organization is set up, each local agency is its own entity. We have the national office sort of as a resource to help us to provide some materials and information as required. But we are basically a standalone agency. We have a board of 9 members at this point in time. So we generally, in the past, we have had an executive director who has sort of helped with the day-to-day, the administration of the organization. Right now we don't. And so we're looking to try and increase our funding to support Mandy. Mandy is doing multiple jobs, and the board is doing multiple jobs. And so we're trying to revisit our governance and revisit our staffing requirements, which all means a little extra funding.
Yeah.
At the same time, we started back in, well, the agency itself started back in the 60s. We went through a real major change in 2016 when we became Big Brothers Big Sisters. And since then, we've grown, and the demand has grown. And at that time, we were Big Brothers Big Sisters Owen Sound. The demand from outside of Owen Sound has been amazing, and so we are now Big Brothers Big Sisters Grey Bruce. Mm-hmm. So that means we need more people to help to be out in the communities. We're no longer just in one community; we're in several, and we need advocates in these communities. We need businesses and interested people to help us out, to be able to provide this service to all of those kids throughout the 2 counties who can really benefit from this. So we're in a growing stage. We just finished days ago reviewing our strategic plan for at least for the next couple of years. Because of COVID, things are so dynamic. We didn't think we could think further along than that. But our plan is to try and build our board, to build our staffing requirements, to try and meet all the needs or as much as we can in all of Grey Bruce.
So first of all, donations are welcome.
Absolutely.
Always.
So to help with the growth, I mean,
Yes.
you weren't going to say it, but I'll say it for you, that, if people want to support the programs, they can certainly donate. Some organizations have been able to access special COVID-19 funding sources to deliver services. Did you fit in those categories, or were you able to access it?
So we did and we didn't. Some of the resources, the provincial, federal resources, we occasionally met. The salary add-ons and the rent subsidies and so forth. Mm-hmm. We have been able to partially make use of that. But the community has been very, very strong for us and individuals, and so our fundraising through 2020 was absolutely heart-wrenching. It was amazing how well the community treated us, and so we're very, very thankful for that. Mm-hmm. It's hard to grow, and we hope that this will continue. We do get. The majority of our funding does come from donations, from individuals, from organizations, and so forth. We write for grants constantly, whether they're from local, not personal grants, or from government organizations. Mm-hmm. Those are often a little trickier, and then sometimes they come associated with specific requirements. We try and meet those. There's a little bit of general government funding that's out there. We're starting to get some interest from some of the municipalities, and that's really exciting and good news. And so it's still the majority of what we get is from individuals and businesses, and it's great.
So from this past year. And perhaps, I'm not sure, Mandy, if you would be the one to answer this. Are you seeing some changes in how the bigs and littles are coping with COVID-19 and the isolation? Are you sensing differences in the strategies that are being used to cope with the mental stresses?
Yeah, I think all of us are COVID tired.
Yes. Yeah.
And we definitely, when I talk to bigs and littles, we hear it, we see it, that they're tired of all of the recommendations and stuff. And at the same time, they get it, and they amaze me every day, especially the youth. They are so good about masks and so good about just doing what they got to do. And that's why I love my job, because youth are amazing, and they can teach all of us adults something about not complaining and being thankful for what we do have. And I think through the program, I write a weekly newsletter with ideas of how to keep people connected and fun activities for people to do, and reminding people to take care of themselves and to be healthy and to, do what they have to do and reach out. So they know they can reach out to us at any time. And that's what we can do, and definitely have seen the resilience and the positive relationship building that youth and the bigs have really come together and showing us that if we stay connected with people, we really can, even if it's a phone call, it can change a day for somebody for sure.
Yes, absolutely. So as we move through, and I'm very positive, optimistic, we're going to get through this. The way virtual has had an impact on services, do you anticipate your services in the future will continue to use virtual connections, interviews? In other words, will your business, it's not a business, but your organization change based on the learnings through COVID?
I think it's given us an opportunity, especially in Grey and Bruce. We serve a really big area.
Yes.
And being able to do a virtual interview has been amazing. Yeah. And so I think we will be a hybrid moving forward. Okay. We will be, people like to connect in person, but I think knowing that we can connect virtually has really shown us that it's possible. And if we have to do it, we'll do it.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
I would think the travel time would be reduced so that you're able to change your activities a little to fit a lot in. And I know you must be very busy. Wow, one person not on staff, but it does allow for that, but it doesn't always replace that personal touch for sure.
Yeah.
So we have about a minute left in the program. Anything you'd like to say in that last moment?
Practice your bowling.
Yes.
Just thank you. We are always looking for more people who are interested in becoming bigs, who may know somebody who would fit into the little program, who might be interested in being a volunteer for any of our activities or even on the board. So please if you have any questions, get in touch with Mandy, get in touch with the office, and thank you. Thank you for doing this as well.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for supporting us and calling. And I'm here if you have questions or just want to chat.
Wonderful. It's been delightful to speak with both of you. I wish you all the best for your fundraising bowling activity. And please join us again to give us updates on how you're doing and how things are moving forward. Both of you take care, and to our listening audience, please take care as well. Join us again to learn more about services and programs available to you. Stay safe.
Thanks, Carol.
Thanks, Carol.